Whenever you're ready.
So, I'd like to call on May 23rd, planning commission to order. But, we'll start with the pledge, Commissioner Malone.
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move on to roll call.
Commissioner Malone,
Present.
Vice Chairperson Malone,
Present.
Commissioner Corona,
Present. Moving on to the verification of agenda posting.
the agenda is posted outside of City Hall on Friday, May 17th, 2024 at 1:22 p.m.
I need a little guidance, so I go on to the public hearing now.
It'll be public input first.
You have to read it off.
Yes.
Yes. Read that. You got it.
Public input, this is the time for anyone in the audience to speak on any item not on the agenda and within the subject matter of jurisdiction of the planning commission. Speaker cards are available in the lobby and are to be completed and given to the secretary before speaking. When the secretary calls your name, please come to the podium, state your name and city for the record, and speak to the planning commission. If you are joining us by Zoom, please click on the bottom of your screen and raise your hand. If you are joining us by Zoom using a cell phone, please press number 9. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes with a maximum of 30 minutes per subject. Please note that state law prohibits the planning commission from discussing or taking action on any item not on the agenda.
I have no speakers for public input.
So moving on to consent items.
Chair Long,
Yes.
before you move on to any voting items, I did want to point out to the commission that all votes require 3 affirmative votes to pass. Okay, that's in the planning commission bylaw. So just so you're aware that if there were 2-1 vote on tonight's items, that would not.
Okay, got it.
Thank you. Moving on to consent items. All items listed under consent agenda will be enacted by one motion, authorizing actions indicated for those items so designated. There will be no separate discussions of these items unless requested by a member of the planning commission, the staff member, or a member of the public. So we need a motion to pass the minutes.
Ask if there's any corrections. Does anybody have corrections?
Does anybody have any corrections to the minutes?
I don't. Call for a motion.
Call for a motion to accept the minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes of March 28th and April 25th, 2024 as presented in the packet.
Is there a second? Second. We have the motion second on the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now we go on to public hearings.
So thank you. Well, staff will be presenting item C1, site architectural review 2022-6. This will be presented by Magda Gonzalez.
Good evening, Commissioners. The applicant is McCandles and Associates Architects. The proposal is for Starbucks, and it is located northeast corner of 4th Street and West Side Boulevard. The proposal includes a 1,540 square foot building with 16 seats, a 1,105 square foot outdoor patio with 26 seats, a drive-through, 19 parking spaces, of which 4 will be designated for employees, a trash enclosure, landscaping, as well as a CME wall on the north and east property lines. On this graphic, you can see the project location. It is a smaller, narrower parcel, a little bit over 24,000 square feet within the neighborhood mixed-use zoning district. This is a proposed site plan. It proposes an entrance through 4th Street. I will, I will hover the cursor over the points I will outline. The first one is the entrance on on 4th Street. They're proposing the entrance of the building to be located on the north side of the building, which would be around here. I'm not sure if you can see where I have the cursor for that side. Yeah. Yeah, so they're proposing 2 doors on the rear, what we consider the rear of that building. It won't be directly pedestrian accessible. The neighborhood mixed use requires that commercial buildings be oriented to facilitate pedestrian access, and preferably it should be either off the 4th Street or west side. But they're currently proposing it on the rear instead of directly through one of the streets. We've worked with the applicant on multiple occasions, and they've been willing to redesign the parcel. I don't know if you remember, we came with a study session, one of the projects, and I'll go over those later, but I just wanted to keep in mind that pedestrian oriented is one of the things that we find is we must make. And unfortunately, with this project and the layout of the design, we have been at a standstill, I guess. These are the proposed elevations on the east exterior. On the north exterior, as you can see the doors right here. These are the doors that I was referring to that are located on the rear of the building. And on the south side, that's what is facing 4th Street. And that's the west exterior elevation. There isn't anything specific that will guide pedestrians, whether they're walking on 4th Street or on west side, to direct them to the entrance, which is technically located on the rear of the building. This is the proposed landscaping. They meet the standards for setbacks and the building height and landscaping. We don't have any issues with that. It's just the orientation of the building. During the study session that was held on September 14th of 2023, the commission encouraged the applicant to create a community space by either increasing or adding an outdoor area, and that they would consider a parking reduction in lieu of an increased outdoor parking area. This was the applicant's preferred option for the parking, for the redesign of the layout. Staff believed that this was a better option, and we discussed it with engineering and ecology. Ecology favored the relocation of the trash enclosure in option B, as you can see circling over here. During that discussion, the planning commission, I believe Commissioner Ross, who's no longer part of the commission, but she suggested incorporating an outdoor space right here where option B for the trash enclosure is, to allow pedestrians to come in, walk the sidewalk, and have easy access to the building, and just be able to be outside and create that that use. However, as you saw with the current proposal, the proposed outdoor use, it's not on the side as was recommended or suggested. It is located on the rear of the building. It requires pedestrians to travel through the side of the building to access that outdoor patio instead of creating it along the street of either Fourth Street or West Side Boulevard. Additionally, as I previously mentioned, the doors are located on the rear. And they would just require them to go, pedestrians to go through the back, all around the building to access those doors. Unfortunately, we were not able to make the findings based on that, and the requirements for that zoning, which states that the placement of structures, entrances, and open space areas such as plazas, courtyards shall be oriented to provide direct access to public sidewalks. It also states that all other buildings shall generally have no required yards and be located directly behind the sidewalk to facilitate pedestrian access to the public realm. We believe that if the building was laid out a little bit different to allow the building to sit directly off of the side, they could incorporate an outdoor area, we would be able to make those findings. Unfortunately, as it's the sign, we wouldn't be able to. The proposal does meet the general plan in the sense that it is an allowed use by right, as long as we have an approved site and architectural review application. But it doesn't comply with the building orientation that is required, which requires for a safe pedestrian passage. Also with the zoning, the entrances are not located directly in front of, along the west side or Fourth Street. They are located on the rear of the building. And like I mentioned earlier, the pedestrian would have to walk along the building to the rear of the building to access, to have access to that building. The project is exempt from CEQA. It is a project that is being denied. If the commission warrants that it be approved, then it could be approved pursuant to section 15332, which is an infill development exemption. The planning commission has a number of options. The first one would be to adopt a resolution denying site architectural 2022-6 because we are unable to make the findings for a pedestrian friendly access or building orientation, which is staff's recommendation. Or option number 2, to adopt a resolution approving site and architectural 2022-6 with conditions of approval and findings made by the planning commission. And that is draft number 2. Or option number 3, to continue the hearing and direct staff to provide additional information. We do have an applicant here. I do want to mention that the applicant provided draft findings for approval. And I believe those are included in your
Well, just for clarification, they were placed on the dais.
Yeah. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for questions and the applicant's also here. I believe they have a presentation as well.
Thank you.
I'm Kelly Huff for the Senior Development Team. The applicant is Barbara Feinberg. She's on Zoom. And with me, I have Claudia, who's the Store Development Manager with Starbucks. James Harriman, who's the Regional Manager for Starbucks. And I'm going to point out the draft for the draft finding. I know that we don't met in September and just
Would you open the public hearing?
So we'll open for public hearing.
Give me 1 second to pull it up, Kelly. Well, not.
Okay, I believe you all were there for the study session, so thank you for waiting with us as we continue this project. We have been working with staff engineering since July of 21, and we've been working hand in hand with Magda and Ava since 2022. So we appreciate all the collaboration that's gone forth with the city and our people. Based off the study session, we got it in the pretty positively, with our preferred option with influencing the patio to make it more of a community centric and to have direct access from the hard corner for the north side, which our new site plan has adapted. Excuse me, this is the site plan. And then if you go forward, I think. Okay, so the modifications that we've made are highlighted in yellow in regards to the pedestrian access. You can see that there's a sort of a curving wayfinding pathway from the hard corner, which is where most people who are walking pedestrians would access the side of the building. We had kept the pedestrian access off the left side, which is highlighted in yellow. And then if you're coming up 4th Street, you would take the right onto the entrance of the building. This site plan shows the enlarged patio, which is in the pink, and then the orange, which is the public facing area. And the reason why we oriented the building as it is because the white or the not hatched color is where Starbucks' engine is going to pick up window is. So this is where the baristas and they call it the drink, have their storage, have their little break room and the pickup window. So the orientation of where the actual pickup of the pickup window is dictated by the placement of the driver's side car window. We've enhanced the elevation by incorporating this beautiful vibrant mural that you can see both on 4th and left side. And then this shows the pedestrian pathway off of the west side. And each of these crossings has these truncated zones, clearly visible striping that goes across the drive-through for both the cars and for the pedestrian safety. This is another rendering of the patio. You can accommodate up to 26 seats in this lovely area. And then this is a vantage point looking towards 4th Street. This is a rendering looking at from the parking field looking at the main entrance. So we have the black and steel canopy and an enlarged patio and then the glazing, which allows the customers to see into the store.
What time?
I think it's we should go in. There's like 2 minutes. There's a nice vibe.
We'll run it. There's a reason.
I'll just put it back to. I'll figure out how to do.
Thank you. Never see when the project when it is cut off.
Thank you. Why she's spoken to the next slide. One of the staff's concern was pedestrian safety crossing the drive-through. So, and then this is just looking at the building from 4th Street next. These are a few examples of pedestrian crossings through drive-throughs. This is right down the road at San Felipe, so you can see there's legit pedestrian pathway from the sidewalk to the main entrance. Next. This is newly the Starbucks in Molina at Reservation in Del Monte. So you actually have 2 pedestrian pathways that cross the drive-through. This is in Salinas, and you have again a highlighted portion of the north portion crossing the drive-through. This is in Sacramento where you cross both the entrance and the exit leaving the drive-through. And then the final one is in Auburn up by the foothills where pedestrians have to cross 3 access points through the drive-through to get to the entrance. Thank you. And we're here for any comments or questions.
Thank you.
The next speaker for this item is Lou King. And just to know, I've changed the timer to 5 minutes, which is how much the speaker was allotted.
I got two problems with this, they're not problems, but ideas with it or whatever, is I live on Line Street and it backs up to that property. And now how high is the fence gonna be? The wall,
8 feet.
huh?
8 feet?
Is it 8 feet?
Yes.
That's okay.
I believe it's 6 feet with 2 feet of non-solid material.
Well, they have to jump high to get over it.
Yeah, they can't put an 8-foot solid fence. We discussed it.
Yes.
And it was gonna have 2 feet of whatever, it doesn't have to be lattice, it's just kind of open, but yeah.
It's 6 feet solid.
No, yeah, 6 feet solid with an option of an additional 2 feet.
Already, now also notice the parking, there was, I couldn't tell. Oh, coming up to that fence, is there tire stops, or they get to run right into the wall? You want to put that back up there and
My
wait?
experience of working up the city yard, it is, they usually put tire stops.
Usually,
Yeah,
but I would like to make sure because our property backs right up to it.
anybody verify that?
So staff can address questions that are brought up during public comment after public comment is closed. So we've noted the question, but otherwise I would allow the speaker to speak.
Is that good then? You've answered my questions.
They're
Thank you.
gonna answer your questions.
Huh?
They're gonna answer your question after the public hearing closes.
No, find that midnight.
2 minutes.
3 minutes, okay, I'll wait.
This is not the city council.
Thank you.
I have no other speaker cards for this item and no hands raised in the virtual audience.
Okay, we'll close the public hearing at 6:22. And, we'll go up for discussion. With the commissioner.
Okay. And it's a rarity for me not to go straight ahead and approve something that's commercial. But this one was a stickler for me. Because we had a meeting, you had a few, and then you had a study session and I was here and. This plan is not jiving, I don't think, with what we described at the study session and how we close the evening out. Again, I am concerned about the pedestrian safety. And I know we did it other places, other towns have put the drive-through over a pedestrian access way, but I don't like it. And I also did the one on San Felipe, maybe I missed that. But, that's an issue that really isn't, I don't like it. And the other thing is, it's really not conforming to the mixed use general plan, criteria and the zoning. Let me get to my sheet here. So it has that issue, and like I said, you can point out other cities allow it, but maybe their mixed use allows that, ours is calling it out. Because the proposal doesn't include provide for safe pedestrian travel and direct pedestrian access from the sidewalks. That's required by the mixed use general plan designation. The main entrance to the building is oriented away from the street, which is another, doesn't go with the mixed use general commercial. There's other pedestrian pathways, direct pedestrians to walk across the drive-through. So that I've already stated that. The rear patio, the patio, I think it was our intent to bring that out where people would actually be walking by. Not behind the building. I think it's just totally flip-flopped. Don't like the drive-through like you have it. I really like to see that in the rear. And let's see. Building should be located adjacent to the sidewalk. Not, and the front door shouldn't be in the rear, because front. You're focusing too much on landscaping and parking, and the building should really move up. It seems like the building is separating the public from the development due to the site layout. The site layout, I just can't grasp it. And finally, The placement of the patio area does not meet the intent of direct access from sidewalk. So the staff brought up a lot of issues and it's already been over a year. So I'm gonna support staff on this and I'm more inclined to, after I hear everybody here. I'm more inclined to accept option number one. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lenore. Commissioner Bell.
Well, it seems to me that it's the pedestrians' safety number one priority right now. And I see where they're going, with trying to direct them from two different sidewalk entrances, but even along Fourth Street, I've watched even here in town, people are still gonna walk into the drive-through. So that's gonna be a concern. I didn't see what I would think would be adequate lighting for those two sidewalk areas, for the pedestrians to come through. I'm okay with the building itself, but I'm still kind of hung up on the pedestrian safety. That's right.
Thank you, Commissioner Corona. And, staff, do we have, answers for the gentleman's questions regarding the tiny house?
Yes, I want to make a clarification, on the CMU wall, it's actually 6 feet. That they're proposing in height. And regarding the wheel stops, no, I do not see one other than the one, where after the drive-through lines meet.
Thank you.
Can I request the applicant to answer?
Yes, there should be at least a 36 or a 42-inch pathway, and then it has a landscape buffer, so I think that's all that it's at least 5 feet from the curb to the fence. Yeah, it will run into the fence.
Yes, so there's not a wheel stop, but as Callie, the applicant mentioned, there is a landscaping strip, so a curb at the end, but it's not an individual wheel stop in the parking space, but they will park up to a curb where there's a landscape distance between the pavement of the parking space and the wall.
You see people park and drive around here?
So. For me, it seems that. It's a very busy project. Um, I'm actually just ready to vote, but I mean. The one thing that stuck out to me the most, was as they're going into the drive-through, they're pulling in from, this side or west side. And it's like they have to make a hard, hairpin to get into the drive-through, and then as they come around, they're going right back to the parking lot. I just see a lot of congestion and happening there. So that was kind of an issue for me, because it's not only pedestrians, but it's also cars trying to back out of spots and things like that. And Starbucks tend to be very busy. So that's what I have. So, does anybody else have any other comments?
This is for a motion.
Okay. So if there's a motion, in the yes,
Number,
This will be resolution 2024-6.
I would believe adopt PC resolution number 2024-69. Sign architectural 2022-6 to construct a new Starbucks building. I'll note here that this denial is without prejudice. As stated in the findings on the resolution, on the draft resolution.
is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Do we need to do a roll call or can we do signify this now?
Either one works, yeah, it's up to you.
So we have a motion and a second, all those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye, aye. Let's have it, please.
thank you for your time, and I hope you find a site, honestly.
They have lost audio.
Did it pass?
No, it did not.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. Okay, we're done. I go home and eat. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for coming, sir.
All right.
Okay, moving on to item number 3. San Juan process. Doing the status.
Thank you. This item will be presented by Eric. This one.
Good evening. Oops, I always do that. Good evening. The item before you is a tentative map and a site and architectural review for a project referred to as San Juan Crossings. This map shows the project location. It's on the corner of San Juan Road / 4th Street and Graff Road. It's across the street from a project you may remember you saw a little bit ago, which was 1550 San Juan, which is our apartment complex we recently approved. It's across the street from this, certainly be from that. This project is a multifamily rental apartment project. It has 132 units. It is a mixed-use development. They have ground floor commercial at the corner of 4th and Graff. And that commercial space comprises 5,259 square feet of the building. Before you is the site plan. As you can see, this is 4th Street. This is 4th Street. This mouse does not want to move properly. This is 4th Street with Graff to the left. As you can see, kind of lower down here is a driveway entrance to 1550 San Juan. If you recall, both the driveway entrance for 1550 San Juan and this project need to line up for safety reasons. We have the main building oriented towards 4th Street with, again, some of the commercial space. Parking is behind that building as well as within a first floor garage area. There are 2 other buildings, all just multifamily. And then at the rear, there is a amenity for the residents. It's a park area with picnic benches and a little tot lot. This is the landscaping for the site. We have landscaping along 4th Street as well as Graff, the most important places for us. We have the roadway improvements to meet our West Gateway beautification plan with a minor exception due to the location of the new bus stop for the site that is required for them to install, as well as some minor modifications due to the city's pipes running under the road. We can't have trees over them. But throughout the site and throughout the parking, we do have landscaping. They have the number of trees they have is in accordance with our requirements within our municipal code. The number or the percentage of landscaping also complies with our municipal code. And then one thing I did want to point out on this one, because this is where it shows it best, is as one of the other amenities for the site, they have a rooftop deck on all 3 buildings. The rooftop deck has some areas where there are, for example, a chessboard, they have seating, they have places to hang out in the rooftop deck as well as within that park area at the rear. These 2 elevations show you the view from 4th Street. Again, there are 2 buildings that kind of front 4th Street. The larger building is the one at the top, is the one that faces at the corner of 4th and Graff. And as you look where the The blue windows that is where the outdoor dining space is for the little commercial spaces. And then, as you can see, to break up the massing of this very long building, we have a number of items that helps enhance this architecture. We have a variety of different materials and colors. We have varying roof heights, extensive windows, so extensive glass to break it up. There are awnings, and then there's the varying roof height throughout to really break up the height and the massing of the building. For the smaller elevation that you see, that's the side portion of the building that faces 4th Street all the way at the end, closer to Arroyo de Vista. And again, in conformance with our requirements, they are breaking up the massing. We have a number of elements. You can see the patio, the balconies from that area, and there is a landscape buffer from the street to the building. And just so you don't think that there is just blank walls on the inside, there is not. They are continuing the architecture throughout the site. So for example, the one at the top, that is your longest building on 4th Street. That is what you would see from the other side. Again, we have a variety of materials and colors, the varying roof heights, the projections, the recesses, and the balconies, which all break up that massing of the building, provide a unique architectural element for the inside to promote visual interest and really enhance the views of the site. With regards to parking, which is always very important, they meet the parking for residential. So they are required to have 254 parking spaces to support that residential space per our code, and they're going to provide 254 parking spaces to meet our code. The commercial space is a little different. They do have excess parking, which covers the commercial space. So it's not just parking for residential. The way that our code works is that the parking required for the space is based on use. So a general retail has one parking requirement of 1 space per 250. If you add restaurants, that is a much more strict parking requirement. And the way that the project was initially set up is they are showing parking to park this space at the retail requirement, but then they did also have 20 extra parking spaces that floated on the side. What staff is recommending is that we would like to give them a parking reduction, which is something we rarely like to do, but in this case we would. The purpose of that parking reduction would be to allow those commercial spaces plus the outdoor space to be restaurant space if they wanted to. If both went into restaurant space, they wouldn't have enough parking per our code. Now, our code doesn't acknowledge mixed use as a parking requirement, and mixed use tends to have a lower parking demand, especially in an area like this where this is an apartment project, 132 units. People can easily walk to the commercial space and not have to get in a car. There is a number of single family residences all within that area in an easily walkable distance. We have Vista de Oro right next to this project, another apartment complex. They can easily walk down the road, not very far, and we'll have new landscaping and new sidewalks, and it'll be enhanced to make it a more pedestrian friendly environment. And right across the street, we have 1550 San Juan, and those people can also go across the street quite easily. That doesn't require the use of a vehicle. So with that in mind, we are recommending a parking reduction, and there are specific conditions of approval for things that they'll need to do, such as striping some of the stalls for a time limit to ensure that they are available for that area. But this really allows them to have the best possible use for those little spaces. So if they want to have 2 restaurants inside and both restaurants get to use the outdoor dining area, they really can. And I think it enhances their viability for that commercial space. As far as CEQA goes, this project is actually an infill project, so it is exempt from CEQA review due to the size of the lot. It is less than 5 acres and it is surrounded by existing uses. The extension, sorry, that's wrong. I do want to mention, and I believe you have it at your desk, that we did receive a comment letter today. And it is a comment letter that I think is in favor of the project. I'm not exactly sure, but it is encouraging you to not deny the project based on the Housing Accountability Act. But We are recommending approval, so hopefully that satisfies the letter, but you do have several options tonight. You can approve the resolution as prepared by staff with the conditions of approval we have recommended. You could make modifications to those conditions of approval if you chose to do so. You can deny the project. Or if you needed additional information, you could continue the hearing and you could direct staff to provide whatever clarification or information you needed. Staff is recommending that you approve this project tonight. And that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. So we get to public comment.
I have questions. First,
Okay.
usually I don't, but I was reading the conditions. I think it's number 13 on page 8 of 38 supposed to say activities shall use noise suppression devices. Says shall not use noise suppression devices. That's on page 8. This is 13. I think that's on the, that's on.
I think that is
Oh,
correct. At the very
I see
bottom.
what you're saying. Remove not, yeah.
Shall use.
Shall use, yeah.
Okay, so
We
that-
can make that change.
Yeah, otherwise. It's gonna be too messy. There was something else. I think now maybe it's because it's under the fire and the other one might be general conditions, but is condition 52 the same as 78? They appear to be, it's regarding address for buildings, the placement, the size. And they're just reading identical, I think.
52, and what was the other condition?
52 and 78.
They are different,
Are they different?
but I don't know why.
Okay, cause I read it, it was kind of lining up.
I know they're quoting different sections of the fire.
I see that. So there must be something in the fire that's different than. Cause I think the first one's under the fire conditions, there's a lot of fire conditions, wow.
Yes.
Which is good.
We get conditions for,
Maybe look at that, but maybe you're right, there's maybe something that's different in Santa Cruz is different, set of conditions.
they both call, it calls out. I don't know.
Yeah, you guys should check it, I might just be reading it wrong, and then, okay. I'm glad to see the overhead utilities will be all undergrounded, that's all I have for that.
Any further questions for staff? Any no further questions? Do we have any public comments?
I think officially, you could open the public hearing.
But we'll open the public hearing at 6:43.
Firstly, before public comments, I do have a couple of speaker cards, but as Erica mentioned, for the record, and the planning commission has received this via email as well as staff, and copies have been made available. We did receive a letter from Mr. James Lloyd representing Cal HDF for a written comment letter on this item. With that, the first speaker card that I have for this item is Jaime Vasquez.
Good evening, members of the planning commission. My name is Simon Vasquez, and I'm here tonight as a partner and also a partner in this meeting. And I would like first to start off, I recognize this potential benefit of the development. I have concerns about the impact that this project might have to our community. One key issue is the importance of prioritizing local involvement and responsibility. It is essential that contractors selected for this project is committed to hiring locally and providing opportunities for our residents. The developer should hire a responsible contractor that employs state certified apprenticeship and workers locally, ensuring that the economic benefit of this project stays within our community. We need to seal the real commitment to developing the skills of our local workforce and creating job opportunities for people in our area. It's not just bringing in workers from the outside. Additionally, these jobs should provide a livable wage and healthcare benefits, ensuring that workers are adequately compensated and can support their families. And this project moves forward, we need assurance that it will be benefit our resident directly. The promise of local hiring should not be an afterthought. It must be a fundamental aspect to the planning and execution of this project. This includes guaranteeing that the job created offers fair wages and access to healthcare, which are essential for fostering stronger, healthier, and more resilient local economy. In conclusion, while development can bring benefits, it's vital that the project like this one are implemented in a way that generally supports our community. I urge the planning commission to consider these points carefully and ensure that local hiring, local wages, and healthcare benefits are prioritized in the project. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker for this item is Victor Gomez.
Honorable Chair Vaughn, members of the few members of the commission, yes, it's a help here.
Yes, come on.
First of all, just a huge thanks to the department for doing what we expect our local employees and certainly the trades. We couldn't obviously make these projects happen without them. So just want to thank this last speaker for his comments, and definitely want to thank Erica Frazier for her assistance in this project, and of course Mark as well for his assistance. We had a lot of back and forth. I think there's like 3 or 4 submittals. We had a lot of things to work out, but we certainly would have been here without their assistance. So huge thanks to your team, to your staff. I don't have a ton to add. Again, the only thing I'm upset about is I grew up 2 blocks away from this site, and I used to ride my BMX bike through this bike, and now I'm not going to be able to. I'm 45, but still it'd be nice. But just growth is the investment here. I did not write that correspondence, by the way, that had nothing to do with me. I'm happy to see that at least we have some support out there. But we're excited to provide really again more rental stock here in Hollister. We have a very, very low stock in rental availability. So we're thrilled again to bring this project. The property owners, also the developers, will probably we're planning on obviously that building this as well. But we're here to answer any questions that you may have. Myself, the project representative, Victor Gomez, with Benefit Strategy. Then, of course, the property owner that is an applicant that's here with this evening as well. So, again, happy to answer any questions you may have when we take the seat. So, if you do, we'll have to answer this. Thank you. Thank you.
I have no other speaker cards, and I think we're alone online, but let me just check really quickly. Yes, I have no other speakers for this item.
Okay, we'll close public comment at 6:48. And we'll open up the discussion.
Okay. Well, it's beautiful. Love the breakup of the building. And I like the fact that the things are not vertical. What am I trying to say? On the patio, they're going this way,
railings.
horizontal instead of vertical. I noticed that right away. The colors, they're good. I've always liked more vibrancy, but I love that wood facade you have interspersed in there. Some great physical, some great things on the roof, and I guess the mixed use will call out for some parking regulations in the new zoning, or will you address it in the future, or is this kind of close to? I mean, I want to see people there, and not, I just wondered if you'll set a parking requirement in mixed use.
The goal would be to do a parking analysis alongside with our zoning update when we're at that phase, so that we analyze each proposed use and new use tables, as we've kind of talked about in previous study sessions, new use tables with new uses, and each use would have a parking that we would analyze at the time. So yes, the plan is to really deep dive into all of our parking eventually.
Well, based on what I see, I like it, and it's been vacant too long, and we're making good progress. I do want it to be attractive. The west side is very special to me. I'm hoping the other one's gonna complement it to the south. it's time, and I think Victor brings us some really good projects to the city. And he grew on the west side, so he's a homeboy. He appreciates the quality he wants to bring to this palette, to this new palette. I've always said that the west side had all that empty. So now you should carry on and get those quality projects. I think he's probably making a pretty sizable investment in that corner right there. So that's my comments. I do like it.
Thank you.
I think I agree with almost everything that Commissioner Ryan said. I would just like to add that for me, affordable housing, is always a priority. It actually seems like they studied our playbook, and pretty much hit on everything that we like to see in the project, from landscaping to architectural design. Just the whole flow of the project. And I look forward to seeing what things that we do.
Yeah, I forgot about the affordable housing, and this is nothing to the applicant. We put forth the development that complies with what we have right now. I want to send a message and encourage the finalization of our inclusionary housing ordinance. And I know the mayor has been trying diligently to get that in place, but it simply needs to be done. So very respectfully, I send from myself as planning commissioner that we move on with that inclusionary housing. Wish we could have got a few, the cross the street gave us 5%. But I still think you're bringing a nice investment, but I do want to have it on record that it really could use the inclusionary housing ordinance finalized. Thank you.
Thank you. And I agree with, both, the commissioners on, their statements. It's a project. And it's gonna be, great for the area. I do want to address, there was a question from the, audience, and is that within our ability that we can require local hire and things of that nature?
I'm not aware of a mechanism by which the city can require a private developer to hire local or enter into a project labor agreement. The city council recently adopted an ordinance to require, I don't think it requires local hire, but to require project labor agreement for city projects. But I don't know how they could require a private developer to do so unless perhaps the project is partially a city project.
I just wanted to acknowledge the question, so.
But I think he sends a great message.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion.
We have two items actually, tentative map NSA.
That's correct.
No need to discuss tentative map. They're actually merging up 5 parcels into 3. Is that what it was?
Correct.
Which one did you want first?
I would take the tentative map first, please.
That's would be number 7.
That will be the number 7.
Okay, motion. I move that we adopt receive a resolution number 2024-7 approving tentative map 2023-2 as presented on the resolution.
There's a motion on the floor.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Ayes have it, 3-0. We'll move on to.
Oh, that'll do that. Oh, yeah.
That's enough.
My apologies.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we adopt PC resolution number 2024-8 approving sign architectural review 2023-4 to construct a mixed-use development with 132 multifamily residential units, 5,259 square feet of commercial space located at 4th and Grant, with the findings and conditions as stated in the draft resolution.
There's a motion on the floor.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
And good luck. Good luck very much.
So, we'll move on to, item number D, informational reports. Is there any reports from the planning commission?
Yes,
The floor is yours.
I do. I have an announcement. You're not gonna be surprised by it, but, next month, I'm not gonna do today. Next month is my last, participation on the City of Hollister Planning Commission. I am moving. I am now saying publicly that I am moving to Oregon. I've already started the process. I'm gonna be talking more about my experiences next month, but to give staff notice that next month the end of the month will be my last and planning commission meetings, and don't worry, I think the mayor has it under control, everything's good. My time has come, but I'll talk next month. I have a lot of things to say, a lot of thanks to give, obviously, so letting you know.
Well, I just want to publicly say that, your knowledge and expertise is going to be greatly missed, and, I'd look to you for guidance a few times, you'll be missed.
Those are the guys you're gonna follow right there. That's who I follow.
Commissioner Todd. Okay, we'll move to item number 2, planning division reports.
I'll just say that we've talked a little bit, Commissioner Lenore, so I had a heads up that this was coming, but I'm very sad to hear it. I'm glad that we're able to have you at least one more meeting. But yes, I'll talk more when you talk more, but we've greatly appreciated your time on the commission. And then your time on the council, and then your time on the commission, and your experience as well. Yes, so, very sorry to hear that, but excited for you in your move.
I'm very excited.
And then I will just report that, as you may be aware, our 6th cycle housing element was publicly released back in March, I want to say, and was submitted to the state, and staff a few weeks back had a midpoint meeting with the state and has made some changes in anticipation of comments. And the revised draft was released on Tuesday of this week, the 21st, and is available for a 7-day review period before we'll resubmit to the state to try and reduce some of the comments. We're expecting a comment letter back from the state in mid-June, where that'll be the formal comment letter, but there is a slightly revised version of the housing element that has been re-released and is available on the housing element webpage for public review and comment. We have a survey that you can submit to, an email, you can contact us, send us a letter, a pigeon, however you'd like to tell us about the housing element. And that is available, and I thought I had something else. Yes, just briefly, just a status update, as you're probably well aware, the 400 block condominium development on the corner of 4th and San Benito is moving along, getting closer to final occupancy. And our housing division coordinator, Jamila Saka, has been working diligently with the applicant because there are 4 affordable units within those condos for sale to low and very low income. And just wanted to give the commission an update that those, the lottery for the affordable units is taking place. Applications are being reviewed for that project. And additionally, and this one's been a little bit longer, but I guess I never announced it to the commission, but the West of Fairview cluster lot project is under development, under construction, and those affordable homes for the moderate income are also going through the lottery process. We have units in escrow, applications being reviewed. So some are occupied now. Yes, a few have closed. So the affordable side of those 2 projects that are kind of in the construction phases, we are getting some affordable units occupied with affordable applicants.
You guys should be proud of yourself. This is a whole new thing, even though Class Expeditions has wanted it so badly. You finally got here and you're part of it. So good job.
So I guess that leaves us with one thing for you. is there a motion for agreement?
So moved.
So second. We have a motion and a second, and, good night, everybody.